Welcome into the PFF 2-Minute Drill, the Monday edition of the 2-Minute Drill. I'm Austin Gayle with my guys, Anthony Treash and Kevin Cole. We got to kick off with some actual NFL news. Jamal Adams traded to the Seattle Seahawks for 2 first-rounders, a third-rounder, and Bradley McDougald. Let's start with the Seattle Seahawks. Treash, what are you giving as a grade, a trade grade, for the Seattle Seahawks acquiring Jamal Adams?
Yeah, I didn't hate this, but at the same time, I didn't love it because that was an absolute haul they gave up. So I'm going to have to go right in the middle, a flat C. You know, I was on Twitter after all this news broke, and I saw a very good point that George Chahuri, our guy, actually tweeted out that Eric Eager mentioned to him, is that the difference between this and the Khalil Mack trade, for example, is that it could take a bad team from like 5 to 6 wins or a good team from 11 to 12 wins. And that is pretty significant. And I mean, they do have the most valuable quarterback in the NFL. I do think this could get them possibly a first-round bye in the playoffs. So, I mean, I could see why they did it, but at the same time, that was a lot to give up. So I'm going with a flat C.
I'm going to go slightly lower at a C minus. Now, I could just never get behind the idea of paying top dollar to a player eventually, and then also giving up draft assets for the right to do that. And that's essentially what the Seattle Seahawks are doing with Jamal Adams. But he is a stud player, so this is not in the Bill O'Brien zone of trade. It's a little bit better than that. But the problem is, how are they going to figure out how to fit all these pieces under the cap? We got Russell Wilson with a huge contract. He's going to eventually need more of a contract. And I know that Wilson isn't a young guy, but he's 31 years old, and this contract is going to benefit them for the next couple of years. But when we talk about 3, 4, 5 years out, where Wilson will still be productive, it's not like they're going to be moving on from him at that point. That's when this is going to be a problem. And having an elite non-quarterback can help you get to that next level, but we've seen plenty of teams have been able to go to the Super Bowl and win with really a collection of talent rather than those elite players. So that's why I'm down on this trade.
Yeah, I'm down on this trade as well. And Tresh, man, you know how to sit on a fence, brother. I'm going C minus, D plus territory. You're acquiring Jamal Adams, one of the best safeties in the NFL. He's second highest graded safety over the past 2 years behind Minnesota's Anthony Harris. Guy rushes the passer well, plays in the box. Seattle has been playing a lot more too high in recent years. It's going to be a perfect role for Jamal Adams to come in and excel. The problem is you gave up 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and a veteran player to give him all the leverage in the world to not only make him the highest paid safety in the NFL, but he's going to be one of the more higher paid defensive players. Guy could ask for 20, 21 million per year and they'd have to say yes because they've given up so much draft capital. You put your team in a bad situation from a negotiation standpoint. And I don't know if this single defensive player, though he is elite, is going to move the needle enough to warrant the King's ransom they gave up for Jamal Adams. I like the player. I love the player. I just don't know if I like how much they gave up.
Hey, I'm happy to sit on that fence. I mean, you got to incorporate those hit rates too on those draft picks. So how about on the other side with the New York Jets? What grade are you guys giving them?
Well, for the Jets, I'm going to go higher. I'm going to go a lot higher. I'm going to go an A minus here. Now, I know that giving up elite talent is never something you want to do, and that's why you're not going to get into an A or A plus range here. But if you think about how this was played by Joe Douglas, this is a player most people were talking about when Jamal Adams was going to go for a first-round pick, maybe something a little bit more. Not only did he get a first-round pick, he got another first-round pick. He got a pick swap. He got a player that can come in and be a starter immediately for the next year. So we got a usable player back in this trade also. I mean, this was a Godfather offer. I don't know how you could have turned this down. If Douglas came into the negotiation with a checklist of what he wanted, I think he got almost everything that he wanted in this transaction. Obviously, you don't want to give up elite talent, but with the team where it is now, they're not competing this year. And if things falter with Sam Darnold next year, this is like a pre-packaged rebuild, ready to go in, maybe even trade up to get the quarterback they need, or build around Darnold if he's successful. So this really gives them so many different options going forward. That's why I give it an A minus.
I'm going one up, baby. I'm going to A. And I know you don't like to give up elite talent, but he wasn't theirs to give up, man. That guy was out. He burned his bridges, man. Adam Gase called him out for being a leader. There's no way they're keeping that elite talent. So with all that leverage lost, I thought Jamal Adams getting traded away would have maybe been 1 first-round pick, even a second-round pick, because there was no leverage in the situation for the New York Jets. Seattle comes in with this, like you said, a Godfather offer, 2 first-round picks, a veteran replacement, and the pick swap. This is an A+ territory for me because the New York Jets are in a situation right now where they're desperately trying to evaluate Sam Darnold to see if he's the quarterback of the future. Adding draft assets to either build around him after a strong, positive, not positive in the COVID sense, but good sense for Sam Sam Darnold this upcoming season. If that is positive, you have picks to build around him. If not, you have the picks to move up and take a quarterback in what is supposed to be a loaded 2021 class with Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and the North Dakota State kid, Trey Lance.
I don't think there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is an A-plus deal. I mean, you're looking at the New York Jets, and they're like the smart kid in class who got all the questions right, and they got the extra credit question, and they got 103% on the test because they absolutely nailed this. I mean, looking at Sam Darnold, he just doesn't look like he's the guy. And I know I don't want to throw him under the bus already, after a couple of years. But, I mean, he's 28th in pass appearances coming in the NFL, 28th in turnover-worthy play rate. I mean, next year's quarterback class and wide receiver class is incredibly deep. I mean, we were talking about this past year's wide receiver class being the deepest we've ever seen. Next year's is going to be better. And if they don't get Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields, like you said, they have Trey Lance maybe there, Brock Purdy out of Iowa State, Jamie Newman out of Georgia. I mean, there are a lot of options there. So I think they can actually build a very great team from this deal.
Well, now another piece of drama in the news here. The NFL 100 list is out, and that's when the players vote on this. And Keenan Allen, he's in his feelings a little bit right now, and he was upset about the fact that he was ranked behind Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and Tyreek Hill. He feels like he's a better player than those receivers. Austin, do you think he has legit beef here?
How can you not mention Chris Godwin in this case? That guy was specifically tagged in the tweet as well. No, but with Keenan Allen, let's not even bring Tyreek Hill into the conversation. Tyreek Hill is a more valuable, a better receiver than Keenan Allen. I think Keenan would even admit that at a certain point. I think where the debate comes is with the two Tampa Bay receivers. And if you look from a yards per route run perspective, Keenan Allen has outproduced Chris Godwin and Mike Evans over the past 3 years. And including in that, Mike Evans, yes, wins the more valuable routes. I like what he does downfield. I think there's an actual argument between Keenan Allen, an elite separator, elite route runner in this league, and Mike Evans, a guy that can get open downfield, win with physicality. Where I don't think there is a question is Chris Godwin versus Keenan Allen. I know everyone in the fantasy football community is in love with Chris Godwin. He graded really well this past year for Tampa Bay, playing a bulk majority of his snaps in the slot, by the way, where it's easier to create separation. But I do think Keenan Allen is an arm and a leg better from a separation standpoint, receiving ability standpoint than Chris Godwin. I think a lot of people are going to see that as well when Godwin, in what should be more 12 personnel in Tampa Bay this year, plays more outside receiver, sees more press coverage. I really do think Keenan Allen rises above Chris Godwin, but I don't think he is in that Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans tier.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. I really don't think there's a debate here that Tyreek Hill is the better receiver of the bunch. I mean, going back to the last 3 years, against single coverage, no one's generated more separation than Tyreek Hill. Keenan Allen was close, but Tyreek Hill edged him out. And when you're looking at the deep production too, I mean, Tyreek Hill, over 500 more deep receiving yards than any of those three receivers. He's more productive on a per route basis. He had the highest passer rating when targeted. He had the highest WAR out of the four receivers. And two, he was second of the four in contested catch rate, higher than Keenan Allen, a lot better than Keenan Allen, might I add. I think Tyreek Hill is the easy question here. I mean, the easy answer to this question. And I think even Chris Godwin, I think he might even be the second of the four. So I think, I don't know. I don't want to put Keenan Allen under the bus. I love him. I would be happy to have him on my team, but I think I would almost rather have the other three receivers.
Yeah, I'm feeling the same way, and I'd say, Keenan, make this easier on yourself. Pick out some guys who we don't like so much. Don't pick out the guy in Chris Godwin who led us, as far as their receiving grade, right below Michael Thomas, the number one guy in WAR this year. Don't pick out someone like Mike Evans. And then, also don't pick out Tyreek Hill. I mean, he is a freak for a reason. He is the cheetah. He is something that you just cannot replicate. And while Keenan Allen is amazing player underneath, what we've seen for those guys is the NFL and, the three of us don't value that quite on the same level. So Keenan Allen is excellent at what he does. Whether or not he should be above the other top receivers in the league, I think that's where the question is.
You want to get rid of me and get back to more great PFF YouTube content? All you have to do is push that button right there and subscribe. Thanks for watching.